Kenma had always known he was going to break. The question had only ever been when. Turned out, it was 3 days after the expo. In the middle of a normal workday. During a normal meeting, until it wasn't. Same room, same low lighting, same hum of the AC. The room where they'd kissed the first time. But now the air felt heavier. Pressurized. Kuru had just finished pitching a new campaign. It was good. Too good. The kind of thing Kenma normally approved without blinking. Instead, he picked it apart. Too broad, he had said, eyes not leaving the screen. Kuru frowned. It's literally tailored to your demo. Too obvious. Kenma, try again, he snapped. Silence followed. Tangible. Waited. Kuru leaned back in his chair, watching him. What's actually going on? Nothing. You've barely looked at me in 3 days. I've been busy. Bullshit. Kenma stood. We don't have to make this personal. But it is personal. Kuru's voice stayed calm, grounded. He stood too, slower. Measured. You kissed me. You showed up. You let me in. Don't act like I imagined that. Kenma's throat felt too tight. Maybe you did. That landed heavier than he'd meant it to. Kuru's jaw flexed, like he was biting back something sharp. Then he exhaled. Steady. Controlled. You're scared. I get it. But don't twist it into my problem. I'm not. You are. And it sucks. I don't expect declarations or fireworks. But I expect something. A text. A look. A sign you haven't ghosted the version of you that wanted this. Kenma stared at the floor. Kuru waited. He said nothing. So Kuru nodded. Slow. There was hurt behind his calm now. Clear. I'm not gonna chase someone who doesn't want to be caught. And then he left. Kenma didn't sleep that night. Didn't eat the next day. He sat at his desk, code untouched, inbox blinking, Akashi's unread message staring back at him. You okay? Bakudo said Kuru's not coming to the launch dinner. His chest tightened. Launch dinner. The one Kuru was supposed to co-host. The one Kenma should have felt relieved about now that Kuru wasn't coming. He didn't feel relieved. He felt sick. By 7 p.m., he was outside the venue. Hoodie up. Hands buried in his pockets. He didn't go in. Just stood on the sidewalk, replaying the last 3 months like a game he couldn't restart. The banter. The glances. The firsts. The first time he laughed with someone again. The first time he didn't flinch from touch. The first time he wanted to stay. He'd told himself he could keep Kuru at a distance and still hold on. He'd been wrong. He didn't remember dialing, but Kuru picked up. Kuru, Kenma said, voice hoarse. Where are you? A pause. My apartment. You didn't come. Nope. Because of me. Yes. Silence. But I'd still open the door if you knocked. Kenma didn't hesitate. Kuru looked tired when he opened the door. Not angry. Just worn. He stepped aside without a word. Kenma walked in, slow. Hands shaking. Shoulders tight. They didn't speak at first. The silence wasn't uncomfortable, just full. Thick with everything unsaid. Then, quietly, Kenma broke it. I'm not good at this. Kuru nodded. I know. I shut down when things matter. I noticed. I pushed you away because I wanted it to stop mattering. Kuru met his gaze, unreadable. Did it? No. It mattered more. That made Kuru exhale. Not relief, more like release. As if he'd been holding something in too long. I don't know how to be someone's person. Then don't be someone's. Just be mine. And that, something in Kenma fractured. Quietly, painfully. Before he could talk himself out of it, he stepped forward and kissed him. Not because it was easy. But, because it wasn't. Because for once, he wanted something enough to try. Later, they sat side by side on Kuru's couch, a blanket over their legs, silence stretched between them, but it felt safe now. Kenma leaned his head on Kuru's shoulder. I don't know what I'm doing. Kuru smiled into his hair. Good. That makes 2 of us. He hadn't meant to stay the night. Not really. Kenma had come to Kuru's to fix what he'd broken. He kissed him like a decision. Let him hold him without flinching. And then, he hadn't wanted to leave. So he didn't. Kuru gave him space, in the quiet, considerate way that always made Kenma feel seen. No pressure. No expectations. Just presence. Kenma stayed. They talked, not about them, not directly. Just things. Old matches. Embarrassing stories. Terrible food poisoning. At some point, Kenma leaned into him. At another, Kuru pressed a kiss to his hair, and Kenma didn't pull away. Eventually, Kenma looked up. Kuru was already watching. "You okay?" he asked softly, brushing hair behind Kenma's ear. "I don't know. Want me to stop?" Kenma shook his head. Kuru kissed him, slow, careful, asking without speaking. His hands didn't grip or demand. They just held. The side of Kenma's jaw. The small of his back. Like he was saying, "I'm here." Kenma kissed him back because he wanted to. Because he trusted him to stay when it stopped being light. They moved to the bedroom. Still quiet. Still soft. Kuru let him set the pace. Every time he reached out, he waited. Paused just long enough for Kenma to nod, to breathe, to choose. No rush. No pressure. Just slow unraveling. Kenma wasn't used to being touched like this, like he was real. Not a performance. Not a role. And that's what undid him. There was heat, yes. He wanted Kuru. That was easy. But it wasn't about fire. It was the way Kuru looked at him when Kenma's hand slid beneath his shirt. The sharp inhale when Kenma pulled it off. The soft reverence of lips against the inside of his wrist. Still good. Kenma nodded. "Yeah, you sure? You're annoying." "That's a yes." Later, flushed and breathless and tangled in sheets and everything unspoken, Kuru reached over and brushed hair from Kenma's eyes. "You didn't run." Kenma blinked at him. "I didn't want to." Kuru smiled. Soft. Tired. His. And when he kissed him again, Kenma kissed back like he meant it. Because this time, he did. The end. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that like button. See you in the next one.